All right. Seyo nagada. Wila haleste ahan Jim Proctor Nutrition Center, December 1st, 2018. Well, it's good to be back home again with our council meeting. I have about 10, 15. From the looks of things, looks like we have enough to start a meeting. Teresa will be a little late. I guess Adeline is not going to be in today. So we're going to get started with that. Welcome everyone. It's grand to see you all. With that, I'll call the meeting to order. Item number 2, invocation. Thank you for that, Peggy. Item number 3 on the agenda is roll call.
Okay, I will take roll call, which is item number 3 on the agenda. Eddie, Cliff, Ella Mae, Adeline, Frankie, Willie, Joyce, here, Peggy, Jamie, Charles, Teresa, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we have quorum.
All right, thank you for that. Next item is Chief's address to the council. November had several activities go on in terms of various holidays and things like this. The first one that we had an informal veterans meal here at the Jim Proctor Nutrition Center. We had about, I'd like to guesstimate about 22 veterans that showed up. We also had, we were honored with those guys, those folks, as well as the Native American fraternities and sororities from NSU that did the serving for us during that day. So that was very good, and we certainly thank the folks for their service. At the same token, on November 20th, the staff and employees came together for here at the Nutrition Center. We had the traditional turkey and dressing and assorted side dishes, including wishy. And my hope is that certainly everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Of course, I'm like everybody else. I tried to hurt myself by eating too much. So hopefully we've gotten over that by now. As of yesterday, we've not heard anything from the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, so please pray for land and trust as the Almighty grants big prayer requests. And hopefully we'll have some kind of knowledge or word about that very soon. On the national scene, November 27th, the Supreme Court of the United States heard the argument case 17-1107, Carpenter versus Murphy. This is the one from the Muskogee Creek Nation where a tribal citizen was tried and convicted of murder in the state court. And at this time, it's at the Supreme Court. It was won in appeals, reversed in appeals. Now it's in the Supreme Court awaiting an answer. You can listen to that hearing, and believe you me, it's about an hour and 15 minutes long, maybe an hour and 7 or 8 minutes long. If you go to www.ussupremecourt.org or .gov and go under, just like we did during our 10th Circuit Court hearing as well, you can hear the argument. The states based their arguments on the fact that when the government gave the territory to the state to become a state, it also transferred all the governmental authority. Now, all my life, and I'm sure all the rest of us, all of our lives, we believe that sovereignty stayed intact. So that's one of the biggest arguments that they have at that time. There's many other issues in that. There's several cases that were quoted, and a little bit, maybe the Attorney General will give us a little more of a briefing a little bit later on. This month is with sadness that another former council member, member of our election board, walked on. Mary Stiglitz, please keep her and her family in your prayers. One of the other issues that had taken place was our single audit. Because of the fact that we had an attrition problem with our company, it was due on the 30th. I have since asked for an extension, and we have received an extension. Hopefully that will be complete and out of the way, and we begin the next year's audit right around the corner. Happy to announce that and thank the council for this. The winter assistance, the applications are being taken. If you know anybody 55 years and older that's an elder, please have them contact your council member and get a form and sign up and go from there. Thank you, council, for doing so. And with that, finally, the January council meeting itself, pending the approval of the council. And in the past, what I gather is we've had the swearing in at 10 o'clock and turn around and have a little break in between. And at 1 o'clock, we actually start that meeting, that council meeting slated for that day. So if it's all right with the council, we'll continue on that basis and go from there. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving along, we have item number 5, approval of the minutes of the month for November 2018.
I just saw a couple of probably typos that need to be corrected, and then there was one part in here that they need some clarification on the page 6 under number 2. The to approve the an amendment to human services application. I believe that was Mr. Steele's resolution. I don't remember. And clear up my thinking, Secretary, on that, but I thought Mr. Steele brought that before the council. And then, I mean, it got approved, and that's the main thing, but I just saw that the motion was made by me, and I thought it was Mr. Steele. And then on item 10 there, to approve to exit executive session, I believe I voted no, just to clear up the thing. I think I want to stay in executive session. Typo. Well, we have it on television now, so we can go back and check all these things. That's what I like about the TV thing. Can't mess up there. And there was a misspelling under CARF on that first page. You got ARF there and left off the C. Motion to approve.
Okay, council, I'll call for vote with the correction under executives. To exit executive session, it should be 7 yes, 1 no, and the no being Assistant Chief Jamie Thompson. Okay, Eddie is absent. Cliff is absent. LMA? Adeline is absent. Frankie? Willie? I vote yes. Peggy? Jamie?
Yes.
Charles? Okay. Teresa? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, Chief, motion carries.
All right, thank you, council. Item number 6, reports to council. Enrollment report.
Okay, the enrollment committee met on November the 21st at 1 o'clock. And along with myself was Norma Jimerson. The other ones was unable to attend, that I was told. But at that time of business, there were 2 applications for new membership and no request for tribal relinquishment. So you'll see the attached names and stuff. So at this time, I would ask for a motion to approve. Okay, council, I'll call for vote for the enrollment report. Eddie is absent. Cliff is absent. LMA? Adeline is absent. Frankie? Willie? I vote yes. Peggy? Jamie? Charles? Teresa? Teresa's absent. Okay, that's 7. Motion carries. Okay, that's my report for enrollment. And my other reports to the council are when you got your packet, the Christmas gift card distribution, the elder assistance has began. But I have a calendar here that you all have. But for the public setting out in the audience, that program's going to begin Tuesday on the 4th. We'll be closed on the 3rd. We'll also be closed on the 24th and 25th. And the program will end on January the 4th at 5 o'clock. You must have your child's membership card when the parent comes to pick up, or a district reps. You can bring the cards and sign off for each child. But again, that's just to let you know. And then from the 17th through the 21st, we will remain open an hour later till 6 to give them time to come in that week for those that work their general 8 to 5 employment. So that's just to give you the information and for the public out there. So also last month, we passed a resolution. It was number 18 UKB 102 at the November 3rd council meeting. Marquana Forkiller had requested a consensus to pursue an ICDBG grant, and she had sent me yesterday the following information that supports for the submission. And it says the ICDBG grant will be pursued to build a community service center. Just in case there are questions, the vision for the center is as follows. Provide a safe and cooperative multi-purpose public facility to support the arts, education, recreation, and other activities that foster family, community, environmental, and economic health and encourage diversity, cooperation, and tolerance. So that will be the reason for the submission of the grant. And it's, I believe she said 800,000. So. Okay, that's all I have.
All right, thank you for that. Financial report, Ella Mae Worley.
Sure. Where is this building going to be located? Did you know? Did she say? Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
Yes, from my understanding, we are looking at building it here on this property.
Okay. Okay. Just good to clarify. Thank you.
Noja? Okay. Okay, each of you received a financial packet, looks like this. I gave everyone one. Anyway, and this is only for Gen Fund. So on Gen Fund, if you want to follow along for November, which this is December, so we're always a month behind. If you look, tax commission, this is contributions for the total revenue. Tax commission was 8,000, child care 20,000. Cell tower was only 1,000, and we knew that that was going to go down. So anyway, for a total of 29,000. Now, when I say 29,000, we do get space rental, the footage for our offices. So, and that's in there somewhere. And we do get direct, indirect cost also. So that's always added in there. But it's not like a revenue, so that's why it's always in expenses. So if you look on expenses now, the salaries is $18,255.98. And I think that that's like Ernestine and her assistant and Aaron and Karen and Charlotte over in the museum department. Council stipends, it says 16,250, but our council stipends are more than that. So part of that comes from the indirect cost, which is what I said. It's not always in the revenues, but it comes in expenses. Celebration, $2,012.72 for a total of the month for the whole celebration. It was $12,819. But this 2,000 was from the credit card payments. Let me see what else. Computer services, it's kind of up. Not kind of, it is. $18,468.40. But that includes the phone bills and all the things that always come up every month. Someone wanting a new computer, and they add that in. So I'm thinking on that part, we need to kind of stop. If you've got a computer that works, you know, because that, to me, that's a lot of money to spend. Contract services is the next one, $7,977.12. And I think that would be Trista and probably the people that Sheila takes. But then the part that when Sheila goes, we pay it up front, which I don't think we're going to be doing that very much longer. The forest department, she's talking to the forest department to where they can pay up front. So we will get reimbursed for that. And that's when she sends out people like, I don't remember, Janetta Leach and anyway, some of the kids that were on the youth program. And then there's indirect cost, which was $16,808.82. Miscellaneous expense, $189, and that was for the election food. Since there's just 2 runoffs, it probably won't even be that much this time, hopefully. $189.32. Professional fees, it was that first phase of the audit, which was $25,000, and that's all paid for. The next professional fees is to our AG, and that was, see where I'm at now, $5,947. And I know we owe more, but we're still working with that bill. Special events, that was celebration. That was the banners and the radio, the ad from the radio. So that came to $875. Let me see, supplies, others. Travel, $2,874. And that Sheila's travel along with her people going. But again, that will be reimbursed also. So this is just the gen fund, but that will be reimbursed. Vehicle expense, $1,731. And that's like maintenance, repairs, gas, insurance, whenever things go wrong with the travel vehicles or any vehicles. Well, not grant vehicles, because they pay for their own. So anyway, the total expense was $89,113.14. So we, at this point, when we only brought in 29,000 and something, we're in a deficit of 60,597. But if you look on down, the cash on hand, that was in, I think a little before October, we had something like 494,000. So we still have 250,000. So all isn't that bad. But we need a lot more than 250,000 actually. But anyway, we still have some money on that. So that's our cash on hand. And if you look at the third page, and you see like the line breaks or where they come, you know, the line comes in and out. So that just kind of gives you a better idea of how our money was coming in and then going out, whatever. Any questions? It's my report. Okay.
On the cell phone bill, it's 1,000 in July and 800 in August, September 2,000, and now went back down to 293.
Okay, this
Whose
month,
cell phone is that?
that's Sheila's, but her grant's going to pay for it.
All of it?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's not, it was taken out of gen fund to begin with, but we've had discussions on it. And so it's going to come out of her grant.
When is that grant coming in? Because shouldn't she have gotten it by now?
Well, she's in environmental and then, I don't know about HP. I don't know how much they get out of that, or historic preservation. But she does have another, I don't know if it's a grant she's filled out, but she does work on a forest, whatever. So it'll be taken out.
And when it's taken out, can you send that to the council so we know
Sure.
that it's covered and
Sure.
it goes back to gen fund?
Yeah.
Because that's,
Well, it will be on here. So, and when it is, I'll give a report on it.
okay, but like, that's why I'm saying when it does, I mean, because apparently you don't know when it's going to happen. And I was under the impression that they didn't have a grant or that they didn't have any grants to work with because it wasn't approved. And then now I'm hearing this. So whenever it does happen, can you
Well,
just send it to us?
she does have environmental that she works with. So it could come out of that even.
I'm sure it'll get taken care of. Let me ask you a question. Do we have cell phones? Do we have people? Do we furnish cell phones for people? I thought nobody had a cell phone
There's a few.
Yeah.
that the tribe pays for.
I think the tribe pays for council. There was a few left over that kind of,
Well,
that's what I was
No.
told.
I didn't
Actually,
think- I thought
tribe
nobody's
does not
supposed to have a
pay
cell
for
phone.
councils.
I pay for my own.
Well, I
No.
pay for my own too, but I think like Mary, I think at
So
one
you don't
time.
really know. You're just thinking you think so.
Well, I was going to say that.
Sound
I
like this
remember when
grant
we
thing. Hey,
first
what we can do is
came
we can-
on, there was a few cell phones left over that you could choose from if you wanted to, or you could keep your own.
All council pay for their own cell phones.
Well, I think we can move forward here. In a couple of years, we can have another forensic audit. We'll find out where all this is. So it's kind of like this $153 million that's floating around. I didn't know anybody had cell phones. I was asked yesterday by one of the light horse about a cell phone. I said, I didn't know anybody had cell phones. I thought they did away with those whenever furnishing them for people. I thought everybody paid for their own. That's what I was under the impression.
Let me clarify on that. I have my own cell phone. I have my own cell phone, but the tribe pays $67 of my activation or do it. So they take it out of my stipend.
Right.
So I pay for it out of my stipend.
That's right. That's why I said
Now, I'm not talking about that. That's not what I'm
council
talking
pays
about.
their own cell phone.
I
They
didn't-
used to back when we had money. They did pay for our cell phone
Right.
bills.
And I
Right.
had-
But
I
that
turned
was a
that
long
back
time
in
ago.
whenever-
That's
Right.
deductive. That's not what
Right.
that's not what I'm referring to. I thought, the way it sounded, that we are paying, furnishing people phones.
They did
you
at
know.
one point.
That's
but
what I
it's-
was thinking, but
yeah,
that ended,
they
right?
did,
Yeah, that's what I
That
thought.
ended.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to say too.
All right, thank you for that. If there's no other questions, we'll move forward then.
Okay, with LMA providing your financial report of the gen fund for November, I need a raising of the right hand and acceptance of her report. Okay, all right, thank you, council.
Okay, thank you for that. Corporate Board, Jamie Thompson.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
it.
Corporate board has not got a whole lot to report on. There's not a lot of activity going on, but there's, you got your report in front of, we met on, this kind of a follow-up from the 26th there, I guess. Randall put this together, and so from his notes. Fish and Hawk and Huff come in about the cool lighters. We signed an agreement with them. It's based upon a contingency that they provide some more signature on a promissory note and some things they do. So that may develop and it may not. Michael Barber, Bet4 Technologies, is a sports betting company here in Oklahoma. We met with them. They came back and put on presentation that lasted a couple hours. And what they want to do is be ready. It looks like in February, this will launch in the state of Oklahoma. And so they're wanting to, if we get our brew pub and thing in like a sports bar and be set up where we can do this online betting, it looks like it's going to be very lucrative. They'll be doing it all over, and about every tribe will be doing it. But Bet4 is a Oklahoma-based a company, and the Michael Barber's an Osage. He's been around this industry quite a while. Seems to be very informative of it. He's got some subject matter experts in the gaming industry working with him. We met with them, and they give a good presentation. We haven't signed anything with him yet, so that's what's on the table there as far as that goes. We had a special meeting with Lindsey King from IHS. That's kind of a typo there. It says HIS, but Lindsey King, as everybody knows, is a local young lady from the Hobart area. She's back home working IHS in Oklahoma City, very knowledgeable. Wants to help the UKB with our new tribes funding. She came and discussed with that to us at length. Looks very promising. We'll be able to start billing again at the OMB rate. I'm not an expert on that, but she certainly is, and she's very looking forward to helping us make that move and be very successful with it. And also getting our treatment center open out here on the bypass out there. It's been sitting out there for about 7 years. So anyway, we had a very successful meeting with her, and we're looking for some bids to remodel or maybe tear down the old tag office and tribal office over there. I think we can renovate that building and make it turn into a very good business. It's certainly in the best location and probably one of the good locations in the state of Oklahoma. And we've had some people looking at that, and with this brewery, it's could be a very lucrative business for us. And then for future, when we win our casino lawsuit that's going on now, we can already have a business there and then put that casino in, a future casino in out there. We'll take over this area around here. We're looking for somebody to, Bet4 is wanting maybe to finance the whole thing for us. So we're going to meet with them again here in the next few days. And then I think we have a meeting with coming up on the 14th of December. What was that company that's coming back? That's our feasibility study group. They're going to be here to finish up. I just want to let you know that they're looking at the rest of our properties. I can't remember the name of them. They're out of St. Louis. And then on the 26th, our law firm, a representative from the law firm Ackerman came down with an investment banker and looking at our lending operations. We're moving forward. I think Eldine and Annalee met with them. You guys met with them at length, didn't you, that day? And had a pretty good meeting. If I understand, they went through our books, and the man from Chicago that's in this business is one of the top, from what I understand, one of the top bankers in the United States. So corporate board has got some, with the help of the people that we've got on board, John Adair and Eldine and Adam and Annalee, we've got some people now that's coming in, taking a look at our operations that really want to help the corporate board move forward. So I think the future is looking real bright for the UKB on our corporate board side. So that's pretty much concludes our report there. And there's a lot of damage. I live out there by Lake Tenkiller, and while I've got the floor here, I want to say that keep a lot of those. There's a lot of damage out there on the lake that happened last night, and they sustained a bunch of damage in those docks and everything. Keep those people in prayers if you would. So anyway, just thought I'd offer that while I was here. Somebody's got something to say. I think.
Before we go there, on December 4th, there's not a meeting in the Enid, is there?
I'm glad you brought that up, Chief. The Enid meeting with the 4th didn't make. There's still some details they're working out. Our Attorney General and the city attorney's got some details on the agreement to work out. So And so we won't be going, that's when we on the 4th. It looks like it'd be the 18th. That's when our next meeting is, the 18th. So the city attorney, I mean, not the city attorney, but city manager left me a message and said it didn't make, and said it looked like it'd be the 18th now. So there you go.
Okay, thank you for that. Council, do you have a problem with that? Yeah.
Go ahead. Grab a microphone if you don't mind there.
Turn it down.
I think you have to turn it on.
Okay. I heard you use the term our casino lawsuit. Could you expound on that, please?
That's the 2.3 acres that we have. It's in litigation in Northern District over there on our casino that was shut down 2013. There has never been a decision on that, and it's pending. And so that's what I was talking about there. I think it's Judge Frizzell. I believe that's it.
So we don't really have a quote casino lawsuit. We have a land and trust issue lawsuit. Thank you.
Well, I may have misspoke, but I think everybody gets the general idea of that. Does anybody else understand what I was talking about? Is there anybody else in the room that doesn't understand what I was talking about when I referred to our casino being shut down, the lawsuit is pending on that? If you do, hold your hand up, please, if you don't understand what I meant.
To clarify, to take a step,
Thank you for your comment, Mr. A.
to take it a step further, we don't have the lawsuit. We have land and trust. C&O filed an injunction against it. Therefore, it's not a lawsuit that we have per se. Okay, as a matter of fact, the Department of Justice is the one that is engaged in this at this time. Okay, thank you for that.
I got a question. Hey, do we have our own construction company with backhoes and all that? Can they tear down this building?
Yes, the answer is yes. We've got the backhoe and the track hoe. Finally got them operating to full capacity, I guess. We haven't just got them back on site yet. We had to pay to get a bunch of stuff done on those work. But the answer is about tearing that down and all that stuff. Yes, we could. Yeah.
I mean, it'll save the tribe a lot of money that way, and I don't know if they're licensed or bonded or they got to
That's
be.
some insurance things like that come into play. What we were hoping to do was find somebody, and you know, if you guys know anybody that would like to demo those buildings over there for all the metal and whatever that's there, well, send them over. We've talked to a lot of people trying to find some people. Had some people interested. I think, Eldine, you had somebody one time that's kind of interested. We can't seem to find anybody that wants to work. That's a problem. But you know, we can never find anybody that wants to hit a lick at a snake. Well, maybe they can get somebody over there to do some of that stuff. But yeah, we've got a backhoe and all that stuff, and we're contemplating that too.
Any other questions? All right. Okay, item number 7, public forum. We have the list. And I want to remind you that persons wishing to speak during public forum will have 4 minutes of which time to address his or her topic. Pardon.
Okay, I have received the public forum sign-in sheet, and we'll begin with the first sign-in, which is Eldine Stevens, and her topic to address to the council is love.
Okay, as my oldest sister said, I'm going to tell on her for being the oldest, and she said that, I'm going to give you a sermon. Okay. So in Matthew 12 and 26, when Jesus was asked by the Pharisees, it says, but when the Pharisees heard about the miracle where Jesus cast out demons out of a man, they said, no wonder he can cast out demons. He gets his power from Satan, the prince of demons. Jesus knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. This is in the NIV, okay? A town or family splintered by feuding will fall apart, and if Satan is casting out Satan, he's divided and fighting against himself. His own kingdom will not survive. Okay. Now keep that in mind, because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you 1 Corinthians 12, actually 13. If I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a sounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains, but didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrificed my body, I could boast about it. But if I didn't love others, I would gain nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable. It gives no record of being wronged. It does not reject or rejoice about injury, It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Prophecy and speaking in unknown languages and special knowledge will become useless, but love will last forever. Now our knowledge is in part and incomplete, and even the gift of prophecy reveals only part of the whole picture. But when the time of perfection comes, these partial things will become useless. When I was a child, I spoke and thought and reasoned as a child. But when I grew up, I put away childish things. Now we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror. But then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is impartial and incomplete. But then I will know everything completely, just as God now knows me completely. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. And he also says, like I said, I wrote when I started reading this, that if I say I love God, whom I can't see, and I love not my brother, whom I can see, the King James Version puts it very succinctly, I'm a liar, and the truth is not in me. And my reason for coming here today and reading this is because I hear a lot of garbage in this tribe. A lot of stuff about this one doing that and that one doing that, somebody else doing something ugly. And it's a bunch of ugly baloney. And I'm tired of listening to it. Don't bring it to me. If you got to say it, don't say it to me, because I'm going to tell you that you're a liar and the truth is not in you if you say you love God, because that's what the Bible says.
Thank you for that.
Okay, thank you, Eldine. The next one to address the council is Ramona. And Ms. Ramona's topic is Resolution 13 UKB 43 and addendum.
Good morning.
My reason for coming here today is to see if this settlement agreement, which was signed on the 8th of June, 2012, could possibly be rescinded. I see that the UKB gets nothing out of this but obligations, and the state of Oklahoma gets everything. They get $2 million. The council agreed to pay them $2 million. Why, I do not know. But maybe our legal counsel can tell us why. Don't know how much he has studied this. Don't think the AG has studied this, but he has a copy of it. And I would like for him to study this and bring this back to us, maybe at the next council meeting, and see if there's any way we can rescind this, because the UKB gets nothing out of this. And they even agreed to, gave a limited waiver of sovereign immunity, which means, you know, they're allowing the state to go ahead and to sue us if they want to. So I just don't see the benefit of this agreement. If someone here does, please let me know. It was passed unanimously by the council, and I've been trying to figure out why, what benefit they see that the UKB gets out of this. So if we could have our AG look into this, I would appreciate it, to see if there's some way we can rescind this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, my question.
See, let me see what the resolution number is here.
13-43 and
Yeah.
addendum.
Yeah, 13-UKB 43. That's the addendum and the addendum.
Basically, just read that heading off there and that'll give us an idea of what,
Okay.
if I remember 2013, what it was, I think the tribe signed a agreement that they would pay the state of Oklahoma $2 billion in lieu of tax for the years that they've been operating. And at that time, for the continued operation of the casino, there's also an agreement that should have been involved with that pending land getting in trust. Now, no one knew that it had taken until this time to, even now, we don't have our land in trust at this time. So once that matured, now I may be mixing a couple of other things together, but once that matured, the due date came and we closed our casino. We didn't have a casino anymore. And that's what this all alleged leads up to, is that a back payment to the state for, and what was really unreal and unusual about the whole issue was class 2 gaming or bingo operations. You don't pay taxes to the state unless you're a nonprofit organization and you're commissioned by the state or you licensed by the state, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, it shows that there were 12 people who voted for it. Was that wrong? Maybe it was wrong.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we can go back to the records and
There
see.
was one of these resolutions, let's see, 12 members present to constitute a quorum by a vote of 12-0, and that was the resolution ratifying the July 26 addendum. That was the addendum. There were two different documents. And then the settlement agreement, this doesn't say that you actually approved the settlement agreement, but then you go on to an addendum, and then you do settle the addendum. I mean, you do.
If
pass
I
on the
remember
addendum.
with that vote, there was 3 of us that didn't vote on it. So if it says all 12, then whomever done that did wrong. And I'll tell you who they were. It was me, Betty Holcomb, and Barry Dotson that did not vote for that.
There was one of these agreements that was passed with a vote of 9-0. So that might be what you're referring to. See if I can find which one it was.
Okay. Ramona, if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and take a look at that and we'll get it
Okay.
to an AG and
All right,
go
I will
from there.
really appreciate it if we can rescind that. I just have never liked this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ramona. The next one to address the council is Ernestine. And her topic is history.
Day. Glad you're uh, here, and I have somewhat to talk to you about, and something that has been bothering me and worrying me. And when I get worried, I just spend a lot of time not sleeping and so forth. And I just thought, well, okay, worrying is not doing any good. And I'm glad that Eldine read that scripture this morning. I think it's very applicable to us today. And I, first of all, would like to honor some of our people who have passed on. Mary Duval, who was a wonderful Christian woman. She had a son who preached her funeral. She prayed for him for years for him to be saved, and finally he was saved and became a minister. Thomas Proctor, whose family had been Catuas for generation upon generation. And Mary Stiglitz, who'd been on our council for about 12 years and also on our election board for about 12 years. There's some things that have happened that were really shocking to me, and that is the use of cursing and profanity in the council meeting. I've been coming to council meetings since I was a child. I remember going to a council meeting down at Jim Proctor's house when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And I remember I have come here as an adult for the last 30 or 40 years, and I've never heard cussing and profanity and the use of profane language in our council meeting until the last 2 or 3 years. You know, that is something that is not in the Katua language. It's not there. There's no profanity in the Katua language, so you didn't learn that from your Katua ancestors. So that is something that we want to try to do without, I think. I would remind you that this has not happened, and some of you have been coming to these meetings as long as I have, just about, and you know that we didn't have that kind of thing. We had ministers who were Chief John Hitcher, Chief Jim Pickup, Chief Bill Glory, Chief Jim Henson, all ministers. We didn't have that kind of language. So let's try to up our, increase our integrity, increase our confidence that people have in us through not using that kind of language. And I've heard other things throughout the last several weeks is that we're taking over the tribe. Boy, what are we going to do when we take the tribe over? We're going to do this and we're going to do that. We're going to do all kinds of things. That is sad to me. That is sad when people have those kinds of feelings. They're going to take the tribe over and they're going to push everybody else aside. They're going to get rid of all of us and bring new people in. And I am just so sad over that we do not have the love and the cohesiveness that we need to move forward. It's sad. I know people who have taken over things, and that's the U.S. government. Do we want to be like them? They took our land in the east. They took our Arkansas reservation, even took our Indian Territory reservation. They take over. That's a white concept. That's not a Katua concept. So if you're saying that, you're not acting within the realm of the Katua people. They don't take over stuff. The Cherokee Nation has the attitude of taking over. They took over the Katua government in 1839, the Act of Union. When they first came here from the east, we were already here. We had our government operating. We had our schools operating. We had everything going. Cherokee Nation came from the east. Immediately, they submitted that Act of Union to put us under them, and they became head over everything. John Ross from the east. Okay, and when the Katuahs formed in the 1930s and 40s, who was there? J.B. Milo. He was the appointed chief of the Cherokee Nation. He came in and got himself on our roll. How did he do that? He was only like 132nd Cherokee, but he's on our roll, our 1939 base roll, 1949 base roll. He's there. And so is Earl Boyd Pierce, who was our attorney at that time, also the attorney for the Cherokee Nation. So, all this is just, they want to take over. They took over beginning in 1970 when they were allowed to select the chief. They took over land management, education money, health care, W. Hastings Hospital. They took over the CDIB program, and they tried to take over our tribe in the 1980s, saying that we had abandoned our government in the 1960s. We didn't do it, and we could prove we didn't do it, so they didn't take us over. We've got to be vigilant, people, about what we're doing. We can't have all this division and fighting among each other. We've got to be cohesive in order to fight against the real enemies that we have. We should not be enemies with each other. Jamie, I'm not your enemy. Chief, I'm not your enemy. I'm your friend, LMA. I want to be your friend. Charlie, I want to be your friend. I want us to all work together and quit coming up with things to say that this one did that and this one did that. And when we get in there, we're going to do this and this and this. And I'm almost through, Chief. I know you're getting antsy, but I want to go ahead and get this said because I think it's important. Now, how has the Katuahs operated over the years? They have been based on love for each other. Listen to this. April 29th, 1859, Katuah leader Bud Gritz wrote, "We therefore now declare and bind ourselves together the same as under our oath to abide by our laws and assist one another." We're not going to fight each other. We're going to help you, Peggy. We're going to help you, Teresa. We're not going to fight you, Willie. We're going to come together and we're going to help each other. That's what they said right here. March the 5th, 1860. Characteristics expected of new members of the Katuahs. It says any new applicants for membership shall be investigated thoroughly by the society as to their habits, their dependability, their upright character, and loyalty to our nation before he can be admitted to a member of our strong United Katuah Society, to assist each other until we fall to the ground. So, help each other, bring each other together, love each other. And then same date, on administering an obligation, the head captain shall have authority to administer an oath by saying, "Our society is of high standing. We're defenders of our nation with our confidential society of Katuahs. This is the Katuah Nation." We can call ourselves Katuah Nation if we want to. We can call ourselves that. I know our official name is United Katuah Band of Cherokee Indians in Oklahoma, but we can still call ourselves Cherokee Nation, our Katuah Nation. That's who we are. You are promising to abide by the laws of this society during life, just as we have taken our oath. We are friends. We are friends. Is it your wish to take the oath? If the answer is yes, the head captain then announces that they've been accepted. September 20, 1860, we will from now follow our forefathers' tradition, just as they met around their fire and smoked tobacco with joy and loyalty to one another. These are things that our ancestors wrote. I didn't make this up. I got these from documents that they wrote back those days. And if you're guilty, you need to repent and try to do your works over again. Do something different. Okay. All the members of Katuah Society shall be like one family. It should be the intention that we must abide with each other in love. We must not surrender under any circumstances until we fall to the ground united. We must lead one another by the hand with all our strength. Our government is being destroyed. Our government is being destroyed, and I think that's applicable right now. Our government is being destroyed, and we are destroying it. We must resort to our bravery to stop it. They were talking about outside people destroying, but I think here today, we're destroying our own government from inside. We've brought in people who have felonies. They're leading our people. We've brought in all kinds of people from Cherokee Nation. They come straight from Cherokee Nation over to here. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know where we're heading. Not the right direction. We haven't moved. We haven't gained anything over the last 2 or 3 years. We're sitting still, doing nothing. And that's my take on it. Defending the government with unity, love, and loyalty was the overriding obligation for the Katuahs then, and it should be our purpose and our obligation now. We're losing our way by getting off the path that was set by our ancestors and our Creator. We can only move forward as a united Katuah group with love, loyalty, and bravery, which is our heritage and our Creator's commandment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that.
Okay, thank you, Ernestine. The next to address the council is, I believe, Jeannie Tidwell, and her topic to bring to you today is voting. Oh, is it Joanne? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. It's Joanne.
Hello, all right. I guess my question, Chief, is for our AG. I just had a few questions about the provisional votes. I was wondering what the definition of provisional votes was for the UKB. And I was also wondering about the voters when they come in to vote. I noticed that we're closed again on Monday for voting. So anyone that does not have their updated Katuah ID card, will they be turned down? Will one of their old cards suffice with a legal ID? How does that work?
What the court told the election board to do is to allow anyone on the voting list that was published to vote. So if you're not on that list, they'll let you vote provisionally, and then they'll see if there was some reason why, like you were accidentally left off the list, and count your vote. So basically, if you're on the published list, you should be able to vote.
Okay. How will the voter know if they voted provisional that their vote counted?
They can ask the election commission.
Okay.
The election commission as a group or election board would make that decision.
Okay, and that decision is made that night?
I believe so, yes,
Okay.
while they're counting. They
Okay.
count all the other votes first, and then any provisional ones they look into and vote on whether to count or not. As a
Okay.
group, I think, but I'm
All right.
not sure.
On the night of the polling, a group of us saw that the containers were taken to the back, and the provisional votes were being reviewed there. I disagree with that. I think that should have been done in a public setting.
I will
So,
convey that to the election board.
Thank you.
Yeah, it should all be within sight of the watchers or the public, whoever's
yes.
allowed into that room should be able to see everything, not just the regular votes being counted.
Thank you. You got anything?
Mr. Aide, did you have a question?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I will add to Joanne's public forum. I received an email yesterday from the election board, and the enrollment office will be open 7 to 7.
Yeah, that was the recommendation that the chairman of the election board made. I believe it was Thursday or maybe earlier this week. I can't remember. Yeah, it's going to be open, I believe. That's what the decision made was. And I want to say one thing in defense of our election board, and I'm not disputing what you said, but the night that they were counting up here of our general election, I was standing there when there was some provisional ballots being counted, and they took them out and opened them up right there and counted them, and then I believe Amanda was there to verify the exclusiveness of the people. You know, you're right. Yeah. Okay, but I just wanted to say that I saw that some of those provisional votes. I think one of the issues that I'd seen that perhaps um, that I didn't agree with was on the provisional ballot. I think name had to be on the outside of the envelope. Whoever made that, so they could verify whether it was exclusive or not. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Without a name, they couldn't verify whether it is exclusive or not. Is that correct? Yeah. So if they do have to vote provisional, make sure they write their name on the outside of that envelope, so they can verify whether they are exclusive UKB member or not.
All right, thank you for your questions. We did get some clarifications on the issues, so we're going to move forward then, okay? Thank you very much for that, yes.
Okay, council, we have one more to address that would like to address the council. That's Annalee Locust, and her topic to you is a strategic plan.
Hello. Can we wait till Charles and Frankie come back? They need to hear this.
While we're waiting there, I'll just like to add something, Chief, about we did get our motor fuels allocation. I've been waiting on this for October. I just want you people to know out there that the motor fuels is a sales tax, and this is kind of follow up on what Sister Ernestine said there a while ago about being taken over. I want you to know that in this quarter of in October that we received, the UKB received $155,762.43. Okay, and everybody knows what motor fuel money is used for. The CNO, the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma, they received $2,497,000. It's $2,497,271.05. Now that's based and dispersed on population. Just letting you know. There's another form of takeover like Ernestine was talking about right there. They get all that tax dollar, and they've got they probably got, I think it's a little over 5,000 registered citizens down there that have the blood quantum that we have. And so, just so as you know, that I'm fighting in Washington, D.C. for the blood quantum. The distribution of this dollar, the federal dollar and the state dollar, should be on blood quantum, in my opinion. Now, if anybody disagrees with that, then I'd like to hear your opinion, because they've got about 361,000 people that don't have that blood quantum, if you do the math. And I'm pretty good at numbers. So I believe that the distribution of that dollar should be on blood quantum. Go ahead, Ron. No, they're not counting us. They got counting California and everywhere else. They coming up with all these numbers. They're distributing that money on population. Oh, they probably are. Yeah, you talking about yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah. You know how honest they are.
Okay, thank you, Council. I agree with everything that was said before by the three sisters. Anyway, I just hope we can always practice what we preach. It's very important. My topic today is strategic plan. And I think that we're going to keep on rolling around like what is that thing that runs in the cage? Yeah, until we have a plan going. And I talked to the chief about it, and he said, he's been talking about it for 2 years. But I think this council that's sitting here, the supreme governing authority, should take a look and say, what is it that we're going to do? I found this in our documents. It says TOPS Strategic Business Plan. And TOPS is the Tahlequah Outpatient Center that's sitting out here. And it was generated actually by the guy that was running KCTS, Jenkins. So probably has to be reviewed and renewed with different statistics, but it has to start right here where you're sitting. And I just wish there was a little bit more participation by the council in that they can't just show up one day a month for their checks and some not show up at all, but have a real committee on certain things that we have problems with. We can get rid of some of our outdated ordinances like the enrollment and the election ordinance. I mean, we need the council to be at work. You know, not all the time, but I mean, I know they have to take care of their districts, but get committees together to start working on things like this. And then we won't be stepping all over each other and like who's doing what. And I was going to bring up the SAMHSA grant, but I'm not going to. I'll address it later. But, you know, there's certain things that we're supposed to be doing because we're the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Center. We're licensed for that. But, you know, that was, like I said, I wasn't going to carry it forward. So that's all I have. I just wish that we would have committees to do some of these things and be serious about it. And then the other thing is more like an announcement. We've been collecting money for gifts for the children and elders like we do every year. And I would like your list to come to LMA or Mary Gertie with the ages, sizes, you know, the whether they're male or female, any elderly people that you have that, you know, would benefit from a gift. You know, we also plan to have a store open, and the chairman has been gracious enough to let me use the treatment center as a store. So if they want to come in to shop for their kids, we'll have it set up like that. But if they can't make it, then you need to pick it up for them. So that was well, it's primarily UKB. Yeah, we've helped other Cherokee children that, you know, that aren't part of the angel tree, you know, and I think you guys know your people more than we do. So if you as a council rep is sponsoring a child or an elder, we're going to accept it. Okay, thank you.
May I say also that if you want to donate a toy or anything, you know, bring it to us, and that would be part of the store where the kids can pick things out, or their parents or whomever. You know, it doesn't have to be an expensive toy, just a toy or just whatever, you know.
I'd like just a moment. Can you email those dates and stuff that you have and all that information, email to the council? Oh, okay. Okay, all right. If you can just get information out to the council.
Even the information on the raffle too.
Right.
Okay.
Just one day.
Okay, thank you for that, y'all. We're going to go forward. At this time, it's public forum. Okay.
I want to back up a little bit. I said, and Jamie mentioned about the votings, the election committee were counting votes. And you said you were standing there when they opened the ballots. Is that normal? I mean, is that part of for us to be standing there while the election committee does their job?
Certainly, certainly that is a good question, in terms that, we did receive from the AG just a moment ago, a better clarification of that the voting counting probably would have been better if it was in front of the counters or the watch list, the watchers and things of that nature rather than in that fashion. So we'll get to take care of that. To answer your question, probably not. Okay.
Now, let me
But
speak.
as to with the watchers watching the count, we've generally in the past, in the major, in the, for lack of better words, in the big election, in the main election, the voting is done out here in the public, and I mean, the counting is actually done in the public. So, yeah, we'll get back to that. Yeah. Okay.
Let me expand on Charles' question there a minute. I made it sound like I was the only one in there. I was just kind of defending the election board there. When I went up there, that room was full of people, Charles. It wasn't just me in there. So I want you to clarify that. In fact, there was more people in there. I just happened to walk in there and watch it. So it might sound like I was the only one in there, but I wasn't. So I need to clarify that.
Okay, thank you for that. Public forum. Unfinished business. All right. My glasses are getting dirty, I guess.
Okay, that's that on that. As you will see, under unfinished business, item number 1, it's a result from last month's meeting as to the fire truck, and because we were to get an answer back from the historic preservation about being able to utilize the fire truck to help with revenue to the tribe. I haven't received any word from historic preservation, but Assistant Chief came to my office yesterday and told me that, correct me if I'm wrong, that they're going to be able to use it, trade it in, right?
Yeah, I've got a report here that
Okay.
she texted me here. She wasn't going to be here today, so she sent this to me last night. Kind of an update on the fire truck. It says, I'm working with Seward Hamilton on the Fire Academy in April for basic training. I'm working with the Atlanta office at the U.S. Forest Service to gather information we need to begin making agreement for the contractors. Waiting on the BIA folks to return from California fires to start working with them. They are interested. We will need a Type 6 truck, which we can trade this existing truck in for one, or maybe 2 wildland fire trucks. With the trained team, we can even help out locally. Emergency management still looking further into those options, local fires. Now, I also want to add that I had a gentleman that works for a company named Ferreira Fire Department or fire trucks. And he came here and he looked at our truck out there, and it's an E1, and that's a sister company to this company. And he looked at that and he said, that is a brush truck, but it's not the Type 6. That truck out there is capable. That's a very good truck, by the way, and it's well worth over $100,000. I just want you to know that in its current condition. He said if I would send him there's a plate on it, and if I'd send him that information, he tells exactly when it was made and everything goes along with it. That truck is capable of driving and spraying at the same time, like in a forest fire, but it's not a Type 6 truck. The Type 6 truck is what we need to do what the Forest Service is wanting. And so I got an email from that gentleman yesterday, and dated November, or 8:30 a.m. Says, Jamie, sorry, it's taken me a few days to get back to you. I spoke with my contact in Tennessee this morning about trading or swapping out the E1 forestry unit currently located at the UKB fire station for a Type 6 that is no more than 5 years old, preferably newer. He said he's got a few in inventory that you may be interested in. Says what I'll need from you is a few view photos of the apparatus, front, back, sides, top, etc. There should also be a plate installed either on the inside of the driver's door, or if there's a center console, it will be on top of that. There should be a build number on that plate that will tell us everything we need to know. If you're not sure which number it is, just take a picture of the plate and I can get it off there. Thank you, John Stiles, Ferrara. So that being said, I know that the director of the Historical Preservation Office is working on this. This can be a very lucrative. I did a little research on it, and we can have people out there on any of these fires. They don't even have to be a fire. They could get called out on major catastrophes like tornadoes, hurricanes, and that kind of stuff. We can have a fire chief and an assistant fire chief, and then some guys working. We can put some people to work. I think they call them fire dancers or something like that. I'm not sure. But we can be contracting like $10,000 a day plus expenses and paying the salary for these young men. So I think this is a good opportunity. And that being said, I think we need to not just give away $100,000 right now the way circumstances are. That's my opinion. Go ahead.
Okay.
I think we do have some UKB men and women that are volunteer firemen in their communities. So I think this is really a great idea.
Okay, as of last month's meeting, and it was to be brought back an answer to utilizing the fire truck with what was said by the assistant chief on item number 1 under unfinished business. I would just strike that because we are going to be able to use it within the tribe.
Okay, thank you for that.
I just asked Joyce, the secretary, making sure that someone contacted Welling Fire Department, let them know that we decided just to keep it and just not leave them in limbo.
Okay, thank you for that. Item number 9, new business.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, item number 9 is new business, and it reads, council discussion to vote to approve, disapprove that the council, 1, assign the EDTO to develop a job description and advertise within the tribal membership for the positions of a 3-member gaming commission. And 2, council to appoint a 3 to 4 council member nomination board. And 3, EDTO to conduct background checks for nominated individuals. And 4, for the council to appoint a 3-member gaming commission in the first council meeting in 2019. And the sponsor of this new business item is Ella Mae Worley.
And let me explain why I brought this up. And I know 3 that have already been voted on, but it wasn't done by protocol. We should have done these things that's mentioned here, and I'll read them again. And the 3 were brought out. They were nominated, or not nominated, they were just brought out. I think it was by the chief. And 1, and I'm not saying don't nominate them again, but the protocol wasn't done right simply because you need to ask them first. And we asked the chief if he had asked him, and I'm not trying to say anything bad. We asked the chief and he said, yeah. But we asked the other fella and he said, no, I was not asked at all. And he said, I'm not going to take that. I don't want it. And then 1 was one that took the bonus from the loan company. Was it loan company? Yeah, loan companies. So anyway, we need to, as council, nominate people whom we think might be good. We need to ask those people. They need to be qualified. They need background checks. We hadn't done the background checks, and then we need to notify them. So last month there was a gentleman, I don't know if I see him here, that said something about, and I was reading the notes here. The commission which those three that were voted in, should already be meeting to give a report to the council on the status of structure, such as licenses. They need to know how to do that and what to do. Ordinance, because NIGC has already requested an updated version of the ordinance to meet today's standards. Our ordinance was written way back in the time. And Chief, I think you are the one that wrote it back in the time, right? So it probably needs to be redone, updated. So again, those are the reasons. If you want the same ones, that's fine, nominate them, and let's go through the proper protocol. So again, council discussion to vote to approve or disapprove that the council, one, assign a EDTO or the EDTO, whichever it may be, to develop a job description and advertise within the tribal membership for the positions of a 3-member gaming commission. And 2, council to appoint a 3 to 4 council member nomination board. So we need to nominate someone or appoint someone, for this nomination board. And 3, the EDTO to conduct background checks for nominated individuals. And for 4, the council to appoint a 3-member gaming commission. And the reason I say we need to do it by 2/19 is because NIGC has already requested this to be done.
Discussion.
Yeah, let me just clear up my thinking here. If I read this correctly, what you're asking is on the second part there, council to appoint a 3 or 4 council member nomination board. What that means to me is you're saying that the council appoint 3 or 4 members of this council to be the nomination board. Is that correct? Right. Okay, right. That's what I thought it said. I think that that's a good idea. That would be like a committee. I think it's a great idea, as a matter of fact, and I'll be bringing before the next council a similar resolution to this too, as far as auditing goes. I was in Arizona a couple weeks ago, tribal, I can't remember the name of it now, but I got to visit some tribes out there, and man, I tell you, it just amazes me how much these successful tribes have got it going on. They've got committees, they got like internal auditing committees and people made up, and they've just got everything. They're very successful. It's kind of embarrassing, really, whenever I go to these places and see that we had several years head start on some of these other tribes and what they're doing and doing it right. And so anyway, I think this is a good idea. I really do.
Discussion. Well, I just want to add something to this. A moment ago, yes, I did write an ordinance, but it was a 2012 ordinance. The ordinance that NIGC is talking about was approved in 1994, I believe. So it's a little bit outdated. Yes, that's true. The other part of it is the individuals that's sitting on this commission as it is today, but 2 practicing attorneys. One is a prosecutor for the, I believe it's for the Comanche. The other one is a practicing attorney here locally, and he and I work in the same casino here, so they're pretty much well versed and well knowledgeable about gaming operations. The third served as a commissioner during the 8-year term that I was here, or 7-year term that I was here. So, by wiping this out, we're taking a step backward. They are working on an ordinance as we speak. They are looking at a state compact as we speak. They are looking at gaming license as well as vendor license as well. So it's moving, and hopefully we'll have it here for you for approval next time or as we need it. Now, keep in mind, once the ordinance is approved by us, and looking at it, we have to get it to NIGC within 15 days for their approval and review. And they take anywhere from 45 to 90 days to look at it. So that's some of the things we need to do. Your input is going to be valuable as well. Once we get that back from the commissioners today, we'll submit it to, or I'll submit it to you all. And you all make your recommendations as well as the council, and we can vote on it.
I don't think the treasurer is questioning the people that you appointed as integrity chief. I think that what this is the way that it happened. And we're just trying to do, like you said there in your last statement, let the council appoint and interview and put together a job description. And so I don't think the integrity of any of those individuals that you're referring to is questioned here. I think it's the process of how it went, that came about, that you just up and appointed somebody that you thought, and I know one of the individuals hadn't even been contacted that you appointed. And so that being said, I think it's the process that we're trying to redo. Not saying that any of those individuals wouldn't be on there, but I think they need to be nominated and through a process. I think that's all she's saying, not their integrity or their character.
I want to add something. The only issue that I have is the way that was written here on the agenda. It says council discussion to vote to approve or disapprove that the council, number one, assign the EDTO to develop a job description and advertise within the tribal membership for the position. Well, for starters, we don't have an EDTO. As of yesterday was his last day. The council voted on that last month. So I don't know how or why the EDTO or an EDTO is even mentioned in here when we don't even have one. So that's one of the main issues that I have.
We're not going to have, yeah.
Again, you would be taking a step backwards.
Yeah,
if this
because we've
were
already,
to-
that's something that's already been established. The council has already voted on it and we moved on. And then now it's being brought back up again.
So who
Additionally,
do you want?
Additionally, it was stated just a moment ago that I appointed someone. I made a recommendation about 3 individuals to be on a gaming commission.
Right?
The
And we
council
voted on it and it
approved
passed.
it. So what other process is needed? This is the supreme governing body. So I myself, I say we disapprove this.
I agree.
Any other questions? All right. Yes, sir.
We had I think he was here as a speaker that one night, this individual you're talking about, here past month or so. I don't know if it was the pageant for kids or something like that, but, and I got to visit with him a little bit that night, and I asked him if he's comfortable with that. And he said, yes. He said, I'm looking forward to it. No, this was the one that was here that one night.
Okay.
Well, can I just make a statement, not really asking a question, but so these 3 that were assigned, I don't even know who they are. They could walk by right in front of me and wouldn't have an idea. Have we met them? Have they come to the council to tell us, what they're doing? And you said that they're working on something right now to get ready, right? So
Yes.
we might need to have them to come tell us, what they're working on, what's happening, what's going on. That way we can have an idea of who these people are, number one. And I'm not a gaming commission person by no means. I couldn't tell you anything about how to do gaming. But if you're nominating or you appointed these people and the council approved, which is what everybody's saying, then we need to know who they are. Give us because and one of the assistant chief said one of them he knew for sure has not been contacted. So have they or have they not? That's the next question. They have. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion, we table this until the next council meeting when we have a full council setting. This looks like a good resolution, but based on the circumstances. And I'm not, Chief's got a valid point. The council approved it, but all we're trying to do is improve a process, in my viewpoint of this thing here, the way it looks. So I'll make a motion that we table it till next month.
I second it.
Chief, does that mean if we table this, then the people that we have on their commission now, it's the way it is? These people are on there.
Chief, is there any way that you can bring them in within the next couple of weeks so we can get acquainted with them? I mean, I know them, but I mean, for those that claim that they don't know them, then were you here that night or that day? You don't know? Okay. Well, hold on before you say that, because the item on the agenda says to approve or disapprove, right? So, but Jamie is making a motion to table it. Well, my motion, I'm sorry, I didn't understand. My motion is to disapprove it completely, not to second his. So I apologize.
Okay, so
You're withdrawing your second.
I am withdrawing my second, and I guess I don't know if I'll make the motion after his. I don't know.
And I second his motion.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion as to item number 1, as it states under new business, we have a motion by Jamie and a second by Ella Mae to table the item number 1, which Teresa had seconded, but she withdrew her second because she wants to entertain another one after. And if this doesn't pass, then you can bring that to light. Okay, council, any more discussion before I call for vote? Yeah. Okay, council. I will call for vote for item number 1 under new business, which is to table.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here we go. Eddie is absent. Cliff, absent. Ella Mae?
Yes, to table.
Okay. Adeline is absent. Frankie? Willie?
No.
Joyce, I vote to table. Peggy?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Charles? No,
Open your microphone, Charles.
no, they want to.
No.
Okay, Teresa?
No.
Okay, under yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Under no, we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, council, motion carries to table.
All right, thank you, council. Executive session. Item number 10. 30-minute one.
I have something, and it's a personnel issue.
personnel issues. So you make a motion, go into,
I make a motion to go into executive session.
okay? Was there a second?
Yeah, I second.
And I'll make it quick.
That's what you always say. Let's score a ball game.
Okay,
Score a ball game, you know.
okay, council, we are at executive session. We do have a motion by Teresa and a second by Willie to enter executive, and I will call for vote. Eddie is absent. Cliff is absent. LMA? No. Okay, Adeline
No.
is absent. Frankie?
What is it, have executive session? Put your mic.
And the reason for executive is personnel. Okay, yes. Okay, Willie?
Yes.
Okay, I vote yes. Peggy?
Claw, no.
Jamie?
No.
Charles? Okay, Teresa?
Yes.
Okay, council. Under yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Under no, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a tie vote to enter executive session. No? Yeah. Okay, I have Eddie. Eddie and Cliff is absent. LMA said no. Adeline is absent. Frankie said yes. Willie said yes. Joyce, yes. Charles Smoke, yes. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I marked no. Sorry. Okay, 5-3. Time with the Attorney General to enter executive session at time 11:56. Okay, council, we're into executive session.
Oh, you was getting beat.
Okay, if everybody would be seated, we'll get this thing started again. 1:15.
Okay, I will call for vote to exit executive session. And just before the guests come in, we already had a motion by Charles and a second by Peggy to exit. Now I'll call for vote. Oh, to return to regular session. Exit executive and return to regular. Okay, Eddie is absent. Cliff, absent. LMA? Yeah, regular session. Okay, Adeline is absent. Frankie?
Yes.
Willie? Yes. I vote yes. Peggy? Jamie?
I kind of like it in there. Yes.
Charles? Teresa?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we are out of executive session. We are back in regular session. There is a business item that will be voted on coming out of executive session, and we'll entertain that at this time. Yeah.
I make a motion to rescind the election of the November 3rd, 2018, and to hold a new election within 90 days due to dual enroll members voting in the UKB election.
If this passes, Teresa, it's going to cause chaos. We're going to spend more money than we have, and we're running low anyway.
Well, like I said, I cause chaos
I'm not
anyway,
finished. I'm not
so-
finished. You're still not going to get things finished. It's just because you didn't get this election, because there's still going to be dual enrolls that are going to vote. You're going to cause chaos.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have a second. I have a motion by Teresa, but I have not received a second. Okay.
I'm just guessing, but I think from the past, it's been at least like 50 or more for one election.
Well, that's the big election with including the chief and assistant chief.
Yes,
And
it makes the difference to where all the machines are.
If you'll remember, we had a lot of discussion about this right before the election in November about dual members and our membership problems during this election anyway. So the council knew about this going into it in the November meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I have a motion and I have a second. And I will call for vote. Charles, Charles Smoke second. Okay, Eddie is absent. Cliff is absent. LMA.
No.
Okay, Adeline is absent. Frankie?
No.
Willie?
Yes.
Okay. I I will have to vote no. Pardon? Okay, Peggy,
No.
Jamie,
No.
Charles, Teresa.
Yes.
Okay, make sure I mark them right. Under yes, I have 1, 2, 3. Under no, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Motion fails. Okay.
Okay. That's it, right? All right, thank you for that, council. We're moving right along. We'll go into item number 11, announcements.
I think there's an item that we overlooked. It's the ratification of our comptroller. There had been a comptroller hired. She, the only one that applied, and you had called me the other day and said she wasn't hired, but I know the secretary and the treasurer, I wasn't here, but we talked about it, and under the continuing resolution that Sankey was hired under, I think she was hired. And so I think that it needs to be ratified, is all that needs to be done here today, so she can start to work. And as far as I know, that she was the only one that made an application.
Was that done internally and like to the public?
It doesn't have to be to the public. Internally, it was done. She's already in-house anyway, so she's the only one that applied. And we went by what you wanted to do. Because you said, let's publish it. She's been hired part-time because there's a continuing.
And I thought
there's a continuing resolution on the budget, and we have not voted for the budget for a comptroller up to 35,000 part-time.
Well, one of the issues I had is I thought the council was going to decide on whether or not to hire her. I mean, even though it was just one person, I thought the council decided, because that's what we did with our last comptroller, especially in a key position like a comptroller.
No, the council didn't hire him. They just ratified him. He was hired by the EDTO and ratified by the council.
But that's not what the
Well-
way the resolution reads, is it?
I don't have a copy of the resolution.
Who is it?
It's the one that was presented here at the last council meeting. Her resume was presented here, we agreed that day to hire. Then she said, to be fair, it needed to be advertised, and we advertised it internally.
All it says is
And she was
the
working there internally as a contractor, and so she the only one applied for it. And that's what the council agreed to do, so therefore she was hired. And now today, we just need to ratify it so we can move forward with the comptroller. The secretary agrees that would take a lot of load off of her, is to get a comptroller. So I'll make a motion that we go ahead and ratify Jackie Taylor as a comptroller.
I second it, Joyce.
Quit and remove herself from
With her
housing?
enrollment audit, I think that's what the question was, if she would have to, you use her for enrollment auditor. That was what the question was, if she'd have to stop doing that. But as far as handling the books, she's very capable of doing all that and probably more capable than anybody we've had in years here.
So she was interviewed?
I gather. Wasn't by me.
Who interviewed her?
I suppose the EDTO, the one interviewed Sankey.
And that's an interesting point because the previous resolution prior to that said the chief and the treasurer can negotiate contracts for a controller. And that wasn't done. So I wasn't a part of that. I didn't get to be a part of that.
Well, apparently none of us were.
Well, there's a motion made
Exactly.
and seconded, so let's vote, and if we don't pass, then we'll move forward, I guess.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, council, we have a motion by Jamie and a second by LMA. And we'll note that as other business coming out of executive session. And it is to ratify the hiring of, and I'm saying it right, it's Jackie Taylor, right? Of Jackie Taylor as the part-time comptroller.
Okay, I got a question. Okay, you said in-house, that's for employees only first, right? Okay. Is she an employee or is she a contractor? She's not an employee then. Okay, that's all I need to know.
Okay. Did I state that right? To ratify the hiring of Jackie Taylor as the part-time comptroller. Okay. Okay, I'll call for vote. Eddie is absent. Cliff is absent. LMA?
Yes.
Adeline is absent. Frankie?
Yes.
Willie?
No, she's not an employee.
I'll vote yes. Peggy?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Charles?
No.
Teresa?
No.
Okay, council under yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 3. Okay, motion carries.
Okay, anything else? Let's move forward to announcements. Any announcements?
I got an announcement.
That's a good point.
I will,
However, the council took that under their consideration. And at that point, we moved forward and voted with them. And believe you me, that, yes, So we're going forward. Thank you for that. Announcements.
Thank you, Chief. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and an announcement that my mother is going to have hip replacement surgery Monday morning. So if you pray, I'd appreciate you keeping her in your prayers. Prayers is, I believe in prayer. So thank you for that. That's my announcement.
Anybody else?
Yeah. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas also. And it was an honor to serve the council with y'all. And congratulations to Sharon. And good luck, Sharon. But yeah, I guess I'll just be seeing y'all from the other side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes.
And I have one announcement. I am going to try to take the elders on a trip like I did last year to the see the lights and to dinner. Hopefully on this Thursday, the 6th, I will have a sign-up sheet on Tuesday here at the Nutrition Center, and I can only take the first 11 people if I get the 15-passenger van. But the thing is, I called to reserve the van, and that van is supposed to be back on Wednesday, but they could not guarantee me that it's going to be back. So if something changes, I will let you know. I'm also looking into checking with other people to see if they have a van or know a person that has a van that I could use, just in case that one's not back. But if something changes, I will let you know. I mean, if we have to move the date, I'll let you know. But I do plan on taking them this Thursday. Sign up sheet I'll have out on Tuesday. And then it'll be, we try to leave here about 5. And also, I want to say thank you to the people in the Tahlequah District for your support. It's been an honor to serve with everyone here. And I love each and every one of you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
We know there was a tornado last night and the damage is being confirmed is really bad. Do we have any plans at this time to be able to give our members information about how to contact or what resources, or if there's anything that we'll be doing in the meantime for our members that may be unaffected?
I was worried about that last night also. Who do we contact in case of an emergency? Say one of our members' house gets blown away. Who do we contact to get them put up in a shelter? Do we contact chief?
Used to be the chief's office.
Any of
Okay.
I don't know if was it to the point to where Red Cross is coming in?
Right.
Yes,
Them?
yes,
Okay.
Red Cross is coming in. They're doing some damage assessments. They're also looking at it. There's been some information put out about some community centers being the contact point. But I was curious internally if we need to get some information out to our members to be able to contact for our members to be taken care of.
Yes, yes. Visit with Travis about that. We put together a pamphlet last year. It's time to bring that pamphlet revised and bring it back up to date today. Get with him Tuesday, if you will.
And my question was like, then, not the next day. I'm talking then when it happened.
Right, that should include that. I mean, there you go. Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't see you back there. Of all people, I didn't see you. All right, but anyway.
Okay, Frankie, your question was kind of like then,
Right
not like
then.
next day or
Yeah,
like
that,
then
she's
if
talking
there's
next
something.
day.
Yeah.
I'm talking when it happens.
Usually what was done in the past, like, I know one time, in your district had a house burn and Red Cross came in, but they only could do so much. And so they came to me and I put them up in a room and I just signed off for it. And then we just justified it later because of the emergency of it. So I know
Okay.
I can do that right now, just because of the issue that has happened.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think that's what the numbers are going to be, right? That you're going to be
Yes.
giving out.
All right.
Yeah, of whomever they can
I
contact.
got one more announcement, Chief. Our council member from the Delaware district, Adeline, has been in the hospital. She's in the hospital today, and she wanted me to go ahead and announce that. She has fluid around her heart. She's got some congestive heart problems. So just keep her in your prayers also. I want to let everybody know that's why she wasn't here today. I visited her this morning at City Hospital. So, and she wanted me to go ahead and pass that along to everybody. Keep her in your prayers, if you would, please.
Is she here in this Calico City?
And keep Malcolm Spotted Crow in your prayers. And OU's winning 27-14.
I have one announcement before we adjourn. As you know, and everybody knows that Miss Mary had passed on, but she, this would be, and she's still active right now up until January when, the new Sequoia District rep comes in. I have set a flag over her chair in honor of her, representing her, be seated there. I think Brittany, okay, she wanted to do a little deal about, we're going to give that flag to her family. So she wanted to do a little news deal on that. But after the meeting's over, we'll fold the flag and we'll give it to the family. I believe that's all for announcements. We're going to go into the benediction. And at this time, would an elder please bless the meeting? Anyone can take. Georgia, would you bless the meeting?
Second. You got to get that last one, huh, Billy?